Welcome to the Addict blog for March 30th, 2009. I am TJ Omega. Welcome to the dark side, kitty. Everyone remember the glasses from the early episodes of Addict? Yeah. Doing this blog last week, I found out it's not a whole lot of fun to be staring at my studio lights for 26 minutes straight. So, this is to make sure that by the time we hit the 10th episode of this blog, I'll still have my natural eyesight intact. So, it's a little dehumanizing. Yeah, I don't emote as well. But, you know, you do what you have to do. I want to be able to see in a year's time. Thank you for joining me for the second edition. Hopefully I'm not going to be running that long. I want to keep this under 20 minutes. And I will do that by not explaining anything anymore. So, great. Let's go ahead and get the first card flung your way. Oh, I like that throw. Okay, I opened up this first segment to questions you had, anything you wanted to know about me, any opinions you wanted out of me, and nobody left any questions. So instead, I'm going to take this opportunity to get something off my chest. Now, every now and then I see a forum topic come up saying, what is the worst Transformer? And at this point, I think I am something of an expert. To me, it isn't as easily defined. I mean, I don't think I own the worst Transformer. You know, this is someone who's got Addict episodes up past episode 60 at this point, all planned out. That's a total lie, but I do have material for that many episodes. And I don't think I own the worst Transformer there is. There's a lot of factors that a lot of people don't consider, like vehicle mode. Like, if a vehicle mode is redeeming enough, then it isn't a bad toy. I think a lot of people forget that it's a toy when it's a vehicle as well. Just because you're not crawling around on the floor, running across the ground, going vroom, 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 vroom anymore, doesn't mean that it isn't still a toy. You know, in a good vehicle mode means it is a half-decent toy, which means it is not the epitome of bad Transformer. It's kind of a mix of all things. Like if you take like a Universe Cheetor, you know, and it looks like it looks horrible in the robot mode, but you transform it and you've got one of the best beast formers ever. That is a half-decent toy. I'd say the same thing about Cybertron Metroplex the opposite way. You got a vehicle mode that you can't tell what the hell it is or what the hell it's supposed to do, but the robot mode is spectacular. So you have to give them half credit. The worst Transformer ever has got to be some kind of mix of things. It's got to be a bad paint job, a vehicle mode that is really bland or looks really bad in said paint job, or that you can't figure out what the hell it is. And the robot mode has to be so overloaded with poor gimmicks or just has poor articulation in general that it lacks all actual playability. So it's a hard mix to find. It's a very rare mix to find. I mean, I think you'd have to go back to some of the experimental G1 gimmicks like Duocons or Jump Starters in order to find the right answer. Me, personally, I can't say. Number one, I couldn't narrow it down to just one. Maybe a top 5, yeah. But also, my series would be over if I said what the worst Transformer of all time was. So, we're going to let you decide that through Plastic Addict. If you think you see the worst Transformer ever, there you go. But toys are just such a subjective thing, and this is weird because me, outside the Addict thing, I'm the guy that's always saying, well, find a good point about a toy and enjoy it for that. And that's what Addict is. I found a way of enjoying those toys by entertaining you with them. That is how I enjoy the really, really crappy toys. What the worst one will be, we will discover together, and that will come in time. Okay, now that that's off, let's get to my collection for the week. I am up to 912. That is mostly thanks to a box that came in just a couple hours ago. And I kind of wanted to open this in front of you, but just in case it happened to be an order of underwear or something, I didn't want to unveil that on camera. I hope you all understand. And for those who wanted to see my underwear, get out, you sicko. Jeez, I don't even want you here. That's if you're female, that's not true. I will show you a few of the things I got. I finally picked up the original Beast Wars Rat Trap. I think I now own every Scott McNeil Transformer there is. He's an early Beast Wars flip changer. He's not bad. I really do miss the bronze head. I really wish I really wish this was the Japanese version where they fixed that. Unfortunately, he can't get everything. Speaking of which, he didn't come with his gun. This is secondhand. But for anyone who's ever seen how much he goes for on eBay, and considering this guy without a gun was $5, you kind of understand why I was willing to sacrifice it. The extra $40 in my pocket is a lot more important to me than one little pistol on a rat transformer. Let's see, continuing the basic size, we got Beast Machine's Night Viper. This one will not end up in the Addict episodes. I really freaking like this toy. I got a fascination with Snake Transformers, Beast Wars Neo. Let's see, what pronunciation should we go with? Korada? I find a fascination that such a slender figure, such a slender beast, could actually turn into a Transformer, so that draws some interest in me. And this one's not bad. He's got a nice little striking gimmick that's simple, but it's effective for what it is. The entire tail transforms into the legs. Fairly clever. That makes for a fairly decent toy. And yeah, he's got some arm kibble, but you know what? He needs some bulk. I mean, look at him. He's the scrawniest thing I've ever seen. And speaking of weird Transformers, I got the Mutant Poison Bite. He's okay. I've got him pretty much as a curiosity. I always wanted to have one of the mutant figures. They never showed up around here. And this is probably the nicest looking one as far as I was concerned. It was the most interesting looking one. For those who don't know, these were originally Animorphs toys. But when that toy line tanked hard, hopefully we will get to that eventually, they remolded and redesigned these for Transformers. You got little robot heads hidden away instead of the human heads originally, and you get no robot mode, only the beasts, which I thought was a clever way of integrating them into the fiction. And apparently the other ones are much better than this, but apparently there is one worse, and if I ever get my hands on him, we will see him a little bit better. The big boon in the box was this guy, the Fox Kids repaint of Transmetal Tarantulas. This guy is crazy hard to find, so I'm thrilled that I got him for such a nice price. He's complete. A few flakes to the Transmetal, but you know, he's 10 years old at this point. What can you do? Really nice repaint. I freaking love this mold, and I love it in those colors. Come on, Vok resurrected Tarantulas. You gotta love that. More importantly, I got this. This is a Machine Wars Soundwave. This was donated to me. Yes, this is donation number 4, I believe. And this came to me from a man that goes by Insane Galvatron. And I thank him very much for it. It's a little outside my usual criteria for a Plastic Addict review, but it's a prime example of some of my biggest grievances with Transformers over the years, so this will actually come in handy. I'm going out later today, so this number will probably increase by the time you see this episode. I don't know what I'll even get. We're just going to browse. So, onwards and upwards toward the 1,000 mark. For those who don't notice, I rearranged things, so now my animated toys are right behind me. And you can't see my Universe figures unless I have one of those really weird perspectives during Plastic Addict, which this Saturday, new episode. Please watch. You're going to like it. I hope you like it. I wanted to mention Where Is Thy Sting briefly. Yeah, we finally got the episode finally officially aired. I can't freaking stand those old cartoon cliches like, ooh, I can't tell who is who. I do like it that they did it in like a little campy way. Like, it's just so blatantly obvious that Wasp and Bumblebee have switched. You know, the voice patterns, the behaviors. I really like how they just kind of made it, oh, we know it's this stupid. I really liked that they didn't just make Wasp into Waspinator and go, oh, he's a Decepticon now. Get him! They actually devoted an episode to making him look like a villain without actually being a villain yet. So it kind of establishes that this is a bad guy. He got a bum break, he's a tragic character, goes right in with a certain other Beast Wars character on the show. And you know what? I think it works. I mean, it makes the Autobots looking like jackasses for completely abandoning him, but he crossed a line. And he tried to replace and... Did he actually try to... I don't think he actually tried to kill Bumblebee. He tried to do the same thing he did and frame him up. But he did it intentionally. It wasn't an accident, and he didn't. And he went right to revenge without trying to vindicate himself. So that makes him into a credible villain in his own right. That much I can respect that they did first, before they made him Decepticon Waspinator. So that part of the episode I really liked. Torg in the background of the video game, that was awesome too. So, really, you know, the biggest payoff of the episode was seeing Ultra Magnus completely slagged at the end. That was a spoiler we got ahead of time. I thought it would happen like near the end of the series, but no, we've still got what, 9 episodes at least to go. I lost track at this point. Stupid movie. It was a surprise to see it so fast. So things are moving at a really good pace here, which really makes up for season 1 and 2 kind of dragging. So it's going to be very cool to see what happens next. I think the next episode is... I can't remember it offhand, but I'll end up talking about it next Monday, though. So join me then. I know some of you have seen it already. We're not going to get into that. Now, the review. I want to thank everyone, a couple hundred of you that went to my website, tinyurl.com/Plastic Addict. The link over there. Look in the info. Thank you very much for voting. You guys made it close. I mean, the winner had 35% of the vote. Number 2 had 34%. We're talking like a handful of votes here that chose it. And the winner is... movie Stockade. This is one of the most underrated toys of the line, and I think mostly because of this. The vehicle mode black SUV, this is the one we saw in the movie. This is Sector 7's agent vehicle of choice, the one Optimus Prime ripped the hood off of. Unfortunately, that makes for a very bland-looking vehicle mode, and you can kind of tell the designers thought the same. The entire front grille is painted all the way down to a very tiny Decepticon symbol on the front. The door handles are painted silver. In the back, you have overly painted headlight or taillight regions, I think. Yeah, you could tell they were trying to go all out to deco this toy and make it a little more interesting. The proof of that is painting these air vents silver. That is a little excessive, but you know what? At that point, they were trying to paint any detail they could. I think they were thrilled when they could make this roof rack partially gray. You got some translucent blue, but it's such a dark shade. I don't even think you can see it on the video. It's such a dark shade that you really can't tell. I mean, especially... yeah, it's a really dark shade. It's a decent vehicle mode. I mean, SUV Transformers, they're generally fairly boring. I think we figured that out ever since Energon Ironhide. And in fact, this isn't even the only deluxe SUV in the line, thanks to the crankcase repaint of Cybertron Red Alert. That being said, it's a decent vehicle. It does a great job of accurately depicting the vehicle that was in the movie. And that much I like. transformation-wise, very simple, and I'll try to do this quickly. Please bear with me. I hate the reviewers that just kind of fumble through the transformation. You know, they haven't figured it out ahead in advance. So if I get caught up, I apologize. Okay, the hood comes forward all the way around. There's the robot feet. These side panels come out, fold against the back rear wheels. The entire roof splits, almost like an homage to Optimus Prime ripping the whole thing off by hand. That unfolds and splits into the arms. You pull down to kind of form the elbows, give them a little bit of clearance room. Panels going out here. Fold down the little heel spurs. Thank you. I actually have fingernails to do that with. Let's see, we'll put the shoulders back there so they can actually move around. And slight automorph, flip that panel up. There's the head, and there is Stockade in robot mode. Now, he's really freaking simple for a movie figure. That much is clear. And unfortunately, the blandness kind of carries over. I mean, we don't get too many colors in this mode. You know, pretty much just that baby blue that the Allspark line had. And he's one of the few toys that actually wears it pretty well. It's mostly because it's the only color he's got on him. They added in a lot more gray and a little bit of light gray in there, so he actually does have some kind of variety or flavor to him. Articulation-wise, he's pretty good as long as you correctly transform him. Elbows and shoulders have full range and full clearance. That little stem out there for the shoulder kind of ruins how big and stocky he looks. Get it? Stockade! Stocky! Forget it. It's a little kibbly in the back, but they actually do a decent job. I mean, aside from the big front end of the truck hanging off of the back of his legs, they actually do a decent job of hiding his vehicle mode. I mean, those panels that we folded in the to the side actually do form a pretty solid back to him. The one part I like, I mean, he's a deluxe that has articulated hands, and that is very surprising. See, that's very unusual for anything under liter size to have. He also has a punch gimmick, which you pull this piece back, and it's a fairly short little punch. It looks more like a Mr. Fantastic gimmick to me. But you know what? It works. It's effective. It doesn't really get in the way, which I like. I like any gimmick that doesn't get in the way, even if it is a little small and a little simple like this. Detail-wise, he's really nice. He's a movie figure, so he's got a ton of it everywhere. The head's a little disappointing because he uses translucent plastic for the eyes. However, if I try to shine a laser into his head, yeah, his eyes don't really light up. He completely painted the back of his head, so why they bother with the light piping, I don't know. It gives him the dead eye look that I don't like for light piping. But you know what? Overall, he's a really nice figure. I mean, he's a figure that struggles to find something to grab you because he's all black, right? He's very much monotone, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he's got a lot of excess light baby blue, which I've never understood Hasbro's fascination with. I don't know why you ruined my precious Energon Landquake with the damn stuff. He's really nice figure. I really like him. He's really one of the most underrated toys of the movie line, and he's one I really hope comes back in Revenge of the Fallen. This is probably a prime choice for an Autobot repaint. Everyone pray for an RID X Brawn repaint. That would be so perfect, especially with the punching gimmick. That would be perfect. Overall, about, I'd say, 7.5 out of 10, and most of that fault comes from being fairly bland to look at. The toy-wise functionality and vehicle mode, they're all spot on. He just doesn't have anything that reaches out and grabs you or appeals to you right off the bat. So if you didn't pick him up and they repaint him, definitely grab him. I'm sure this time they'll give him a much more out there paint job. That's usually their MO. Especially now they probably won't have to stick closely to how he looked in the movie. So that is Stockade. That is the first review of this blog. And I thank every one of you. And we're going to do it again. Because as I say goodbye to everybody, we are going to once again reach into the magic bag of destiny. Now, the one part I didn't mention last week is, here is the Movie 07 chip. Yeah, that's going away. That's actually going away next week, too. We're going to disqualify the chips chosen for 2 weeks. That means you're always going to get a fresh series. You're always going to have variety in the reviews. So we're trying to mix it up as much as possible, see? And in that spirit, I now introduce the 4 chips that I hinted at last week. First off is the WD chip. This is a toy line called Web Diver. This is Takara's attempt to replace Transformers. This happened back in 2001 after the Car Robots line. It failed. Horribly. Mostly because all the toys revolved around one center figure that had such an expensive gimmick that no one really wanted to buy the damn thing. So, this is really an odd toy line, especially as a replacement to Transformers. So we're going to throw it in here because I have a fairly nice collection of them, and I would like to show off something a little bit different for you guys. And maybe we'll see that they're not bad toys, they just had an unfortunate gimmick problem. That also leads to the M. Now, a lot of people speculated this was Machine Wars, and you know what? No. That Soundwave you just saw is my only Machine Wars toy. This is a toy line called Mugenbein. Believe it or not, this is the distant relative of the original GoBots. Stop screaming, come back. The Mugenbein toy line is vastly different from a Transformer. It's almost like Lego for giant robots, and I don't mean Bionicle. I mean really expansive stuff. Any set can combine with any other set. You've got different transformations, different vehicles and varieties and robots and different styles, and it's all really, really cool. And the cool thing about that is the more you own, the more value each one has, because you could have 100 different sets. They will all combine into whatever you can dream of. Big vehicle, big robot. I've made 2-foot-tall robots out of these things before. It's awesome. It's a hell of a way to spend an afternoon if you're a toy collector. I have a really good collection of these, so these I want to show off. And then there's these two. The blue one is for me. This is Addict's choice. This means that I will select any 3 toys I want from any 3 toy lines. They won't even be in the same toy line. Just 3 that I would really like to review, and I hope you choose which one that I will review. This is your chip. This one means you pick everything. If you've seen it in my videos, if I've mentioned it, if just shoot random ones. It's up to almost 1,000. I will tell you, avoid G2, avoid Beast Machines, avoid any Japanese exclusive series, and pretty much if it's a U.S. toy line, throw it in. I've got a pretty fair share of them. If this chip is pulled, you've got 24 hours to comment below on this video telling me what toy you want to review. And, okay, you only got 24 hours to get into suggestions after you see this video, after this video goes live. So, if this chip is pulled, everything is up to you. So, as I take a moment to play with my sack and bits, I will remind everyone, please tune in next week, and in the meantime, go to tinyurl/Plastic Addict to see the brand new poll that is up right now. It's also where to go for more in-depth Rush reviews, and not in the video, I described the toy a little better. And behind-the-scenes info on Plastic Addict. You can also see my collection there, see a little bit of exclusive things. I will be adding more to the site soon, so keep an eye out. But more importantly, vote for the toy, which will be coming from... We're going to get right into it. The Web Diver line. Now, I know a lot of you probably haven't even seen Web Diver toys, so you know what? I'm going to provide little links so you can actually have pictures of the toys so you can choose which one looks the most interesting. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. I still do not have an outro. I will just thank you for watching and putting up with me. Hopefully it isn't as long as last week. I'm about to find out myself because I haven't been watching the clock. Oh, God. Goodbye, everyone.